How's it going, everybody? I, Shooper31 here. I'd like to welcome you to my FIFA 15 Manager Mode series on the PC. I know it's been about a week since I've posted, but I wanted to get a special guest in for this to wrap up the season, and I've got Matt 10 on the Skype chat with me. He's going to have a front row seat to see if I indeed get sacked at Everton or I stay on board. So, Matt, welcome to the show.
What's up, man? Good to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you. So, you've just finished watching my very intense career mode, all 60-some episodes of them. So, what are your thoughts?
I'll say it was, you did remarkably well from where you started. I think a lot of it had to do with the sliders. Of course, I put you through that, but I think in the end, for the successes, making it as far as to the Europa, final and everything, and then a couple late results. I don't know how many penalties you had this season, but it felt like you had maybe 20 or maybe even 30. I don't know.
Oh,
Leighton Baines,
yeah, Leighton Baines, man. I'll tell you what, he can make a penalty. But, the reason I was pumping out so many episodes because I knew you would get that itch to change the sliders again. On that last, the last few episodes, I'm like, oh man, I gotta just crank these out daily so you don't have so I could at least finish the season and not have to stop and like, oh, we got to do more slider testing.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
No, it's been quite fun. Just a little brief overview of what is happening at the club. Obviously, the big news for the club is Ross Barkley. I've tried to re-sign him again, give him an extension with more money. He's turned me down yet again. The big clubs have been asking for him: Arsenal, Man City, Chelsea, the big three of the table, and he's looking to move on. He just wants more money, so I don't know what the situation is going to be. If I'm still around, I'm going to do all I can to keep him, but if I'm fired, then I don't have any control of that.
I felt like he's been inconsistently clutch for you.
Inconsistently clutch for you. Yeah, the Southampton game comes to mind where I was struggling like crazy to get a result, and we scored that very late equalizer, and he had a few of them this season. He was very good for me off the bench. Like starting, he didn't seem to play very well. I just couldn't find the right position for him until very late in the year when I moved him more to a central mid instead of his normal cam. He seemed to be a lot better there because at the cams, I don't know if it's just the game. Just cams don't seem to kind of move back and defend. They kind of just stay forward.
Yeah, he's very much somebody who just stayed forward a lot. And I think when he had the ball at his feet and he dribbled past everybody, it was pretty remarkable to see that. He kind of reminded me of like a slightly better Adel Taarabt. He was just kind of, like he's exciting to watch. You don't know what's going to happen, but he was still, a good player to use.
Yeah.
But I think it makes sense, in the reality of it, that he may not stay at Everton. I just feel like he's pretty skillful. Maybe the consistency wasn't there this year, though.
Yeah, and he's a young player too, so he's going to be looking to max out eventually.
Yeah.
Look
forward to that.
And another big bit of news: the awards were announced, and Tim Howard's been named top player of the Premier League this season.
It's incredible.
Incredible. He's the man.
He really was for you. I mean, all over the place, and I think also the nod has to, or not for player of the year, but somebody probably made Tim Howard play better was Lindegaard. I thought he did amazing. You signed him, and it makes sense. He's probably learning from Timmy over there, just saving everything. Timmy's so good in this game, though.
Yeah, it was one of my earlier goals in the season. The board wanted another goalkeeper, wanted another first-team goalkeeper. I'm like, you're crazy. Tim's an amazing player. I know he's up there, but he grew, he gained 3 overall over the season, and he never lost his form. He was always on top form every game. You talked about Baines, how many penalties he scored. How many penalties did Tim Howard actually save is what I should have went back and looked, because I made so many crucial penalty saves with Tim Howard. It was insane. He saved more than he conceded, I believe.
he made some saves with his feet. It was pretty incredible
Yeah.
reactions.
Yeah, but yeah, snagging Lindegaard was also that was probably my big uh, transfer I got. I think I didn't make many transfers this first season, but yeah, coming in and then he came off the bench, and it's gonna be interesting next season if Tim starts to fall off. And
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a capable back end Lindegaard, but how long can I keep Lindegaard? Because I believe Lindegaard, I only signed him to like his deal's up after the next season, so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
going
I
to
gotta
be.
start looking.
I'm going to have to do a lot of goalie rotating in the next season, possibly. And I've got kind of a plan in state, but you know, I got to try to keep him happy because he wasn't happy once I got there. He pretty much sat on the bench the first from till about March when he was just fed up, and I'm like, yeah, I got to get him some playing time. But he showed up as well. I was really impressed with Lindegaard. Definitely an upgrade over Robles.
Yeah. No.
Okay, and trying to think what other news I had on the team. Go over some of the other awards as well in the Premier League. I'm just going to focus on. Obviously, Man City won the title by 1 point over Chelsea. Crazy last day finish. They ended up getting a draw to clinch the title. Very tight race at the top, as you know, 1 point separated them. Arsenal was not even 4 points behind Chelsea, and then Tottenham was 3 points behind them. So the top four were right there the whole season, and in my opinion, deserved. Man City, Chelsea, Tottenham. They were the four best teams to play against, hands
Can you
down.
imagine if FIFA did like a highlight package like ESPN 2K5 did, you know, for something like that? It'd be amazing to watch that the top four grind it out there.
Okay. Yeah, and obviously we finished mid-table, which was, considering where we were at the beginning of April, if you remember, I was 17th. Like, I was just outside the relegation, and I've been kind of floating 17th, 18th all season. We had a ton of games in hand, but the surge we had in April was just incredible. It just felt like all the breaks were going our way. We're getting those 1-0 wins. We were just putting teams away like Man United, you name it. But, you know, I think we played so many back-to-back 2-day games. It was like 2 days I had a game. Every second game, every other day was a game. And by the time I got to the final, I was trying to rotate my guys, keep them well rested. But I think after that final, it was just I kind of lost the team. It just felt like I didn't have the same step there those last two games especially against your villains. They made me look kind of foolish.
See, you let Sanchez score. I mean, I don't know how that happens, but no, it was, you know, that was tough. You could tell there was a little bit of that final hangover that, you know, for the end of it all, and you know, it was pretty realistic how it all unfolded. I thought it was interesting that the amount of goals. I think you scored like 35, yeah, and you conceded in the 40s. You know, despite Tim Howard being the player of the year. But I know it was a lot of that wasn't his because Lindegaard was in there too. But still, there was a time in which, you know, you're giving up goals, but you really weren't scoring goals. You know, 30s is still a little low to get into that. You know, if you look at the top teams, they're in the 50s and 60s. I think if you get to keep your job, that would probably be something to focus on.
And
sure.
Yeah, and to that point, yeah, Tim was great this season. So was Lindegaard in net, but I think a lot of it had to do with the back line, and I had a lot of injuries in the back. Like I had Barry and McCarthy, my CDMs, or my top two midfielders were always hurt. My center backs were always getting they were interchanging with each other. I didn't have a really consistent line. Jagielka was my best, but you know he's getting old and dropping off. Diston is retiring this season.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And Stones, I like Stones. I think he's going to be great for the future, but he's not quite there yet defensively.
He's still raw.
Yeah, he's young, but he's raw. I felt the center back position we were very weak. Now fullback position we're stacked.
Oh yeah.
The fullbacks Coleman and Baines. I'm really grateful that I turned down Napoli's $14 million bid for Coleman this past winter. I
was
mean,
going to mention that. That was crazy, but yeah, I think you know, Baines gets all the credit, of course, for his attacking prowess in terms of scoring the goals, but Coleman just as important, with his contributions. It's just in typical in real life. Coleman's like that, just runs
Yeah.
up and down that flank, and just is so good defensively. So yeah, your fullbacks are in good spots. I think your center backs are obviously the main focus.
Yes, I definitely think that's definitely an area of focus. Like the fullbacks, I mean, are definitely. I'm going to try to keep on doing the best I can. But just quickly, I'm going to keep going over the awards in the BPL. We get to the top goal scorer. Ended up being Soldado from Spurs with 17 goals.
What? That's unrealistic.
Well, number 2 was Wayne Rooney with 16 goals.
I just meant Soldado scoring that many
Yeah,
goals.
well, it was just, look, Jovetic had 14, Balotelli 13, Vargas, QPR had 12. So, yeah, it was crazy, the goal scoring. I mean, Tottenham, jeez, I don't blame it. Rooney, I mean, Rooney didn't do much for me against me when we played him both times. I think he got subbed off both times, but it's kind of surprising when they had Falcao and Van Persie that they weren't getting all the goals. It was Rooney. So
Yeah, I'm surprised also to see Stephen Fletcher up there beating out Diego Costa. Or not really beating him out there even, but still 9 goals for Sunderland.
yeah, I don't recall if any of my guys even cracked the. Oh yeah, Leighton Baines did.
Yeah.
With his he had 8 penalties in the Premier League.
Oh, there's the number. Okay.
That's just Premier League. I'll scroll.
Premier League, yeah. I guess
Yeah.
you got quite a bit in Europa.
Yeah, I'll go through the team stats here in a bit. I just wanted to go over the top players. Lallana ended up getting top assist with 11 this season for Liverpool. That's reasonable, I guess. Nothing really. Yaya Touré's up there with 9 right behind him, so not too bad. Pretty consistent, I think. And I forgot to mention this. What was your one surprise team in that standings you saw that kind of just stood out the page? You're like, whoa, how'd that happen?
You'd have to go back to it. I think I was just looking at your goals and everything, but if I do recall, I think I saw Sunderland up there. But I think if you can go back to the standings.
Yep, no problem.
Give me an idea. But I thought, I was just thinking to myself, I don't remember what was the board's goal for you to be in top 10 or
top 4?
Top 4, right? So that's crazy.
Yeah, I was scheduled to be top 4. They wanted Champions League, and I think media predicted me to finish 7th. Which, if I would have won those last 2 games, that would have gave me 53 points, and I would have been 7th. If you think about it, but I was kind of like, oh man, I was doing the math. I was like, oh, I could get there. Yeah, for me, the team that I look on the standings surprised me is QPR. The year they had, where they got 51 points, and a lot of it had to do with that 5 in the back formation they had.
That's crazy.
But they were scoring goals like crazy, and I remember they were a tough team to play. Now, when we played them at home, we beat them pretty easily, but yeah, to me, because at the time they were almost early in the season, they were up there fighting for that Europa League spot. I'm like, geez, they could come up from the championship and get in the Europa League. But then towards the end of the year, they tailed off quite a bit. But
yeah, and it looks like, in terms of teams that I think didn't produce. I mean, look at obviously my Villains team is great, but more importantly, I think West Ham United. For the team that they have, in real life, and the composition and the strong support, and that's really crazy to give up that many goals, and they have a decent back line. So 56 goals, given up. That's just crazy. That one kind of sticks out to me. So does Stoke City in terms of teams that I didn't expect to be that high.
Yeah.
8th place. People always make fun of Stoke City for their one route football. Send it up to Peter Crouch, but Um, I think if this is how they play with the tactics and this game and everything, I'm pretty sure you have it all updated. That they have a different setup.
Mm-hmm.
Everything goes through Nzonzi and Boyan and I think in real life I really like Stoke City, especially when Mark Hughes took over. So it looks like it's been paying off.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. Stoke, they were a tough team to play as well. They felt very like playing QPR. They were surprisingly good. West Ham, yeah, they just seemed to never got off the ground running. They were in the relegation zone. Like beginning of the year, they were smack bottom of the table, and they were able to crawl themselves out. But they were in kind of the same boat we were mid-season. They were struggling like us. Another team I would say was Southampton, but
Oh yeah.
they because every time I played them, oh my god, those were tough games. Like, I mean, the win at St. Mary's was epic, but man, that was just a tough, drawn-out match. Like the quality they had, I could tell playing them. They're like, man, this team shouldn't be 17th. They should be at least, top 10 easy. But they just didn't seem to get off the ground running a while. They gave up 50 goals.
Hmm.
So I mean, obviously they got to do some work as well. But it looks like they turned around. Your villains were kind of hanging around mid-table pretty much all season, if I recall, and they just
Yeah, they're not
better.
very
Yeah,
exciting.
I
It's
would
nice to
say
see.
FIFA was
Yeah,
nice to them, considering in real life they're.
yeah. They're not all there, and it sucks because being just from following them and everybody knows the tradition Aston Villa brings in, but it's funny because Benteke has like 9 goals here,
Mm-hmm.
and they still struggle. I think there's just not really any excitement. That's just a team. That's why I enjoyed using them. To really find that standout player, that could really bring in, make the team exciting. So, but
Mm-hmm.
that's another story.
All right, I'm gonna jump back to the BPL awards, and
Hmm.
we're gonna go to clean sheets. Number one, this took me for a surprise. It's Caballero from Man City. Number one with Chesney with 14 saves. He was actually named goalkeeper of the season in the BPL, which I don't know if that's a glitch with FIFA, that he seemed to get all the games and Hart was always on the bench.
Yeah, that is weird.
Obviously, our top clean sheet guy was actually Lindegaard, but we got him halfway through the season, so some of those clean sheets are for Man United instead of us. But because of his late games in April, he managed to get ahead of Tim Howard there. But it's all good.
That's really weird about Joe Hart, though.
Yeah, I'm trying to think how many clean sheets he had. He's not even on the list, I don't think.
No, I know that's really strange. Okay.
It seemed like Caballero was getting all the game time over Tim, and which doesn't make any sense because Tim's way better in this game. Caballero's just a backup, but I think sometimes if they start all preseason, then they, you know, automatically pick him because he's been playing. So
Yeah, I think that's interesting. I've never seen that. To be honest, I've never gotten, me, I haven't gotten that far into seasons at all because I've been slider testing. So it's nice to see this, the composition of how everything stacks up, and that's
hmm
that's a weird one though.
Yeah,
Seeing backup keeper.
but yeah, well, credit to him. He gave him a title, so credit to Caballero. Probably deserved it. Yellow cards. Zabaleta got led with 10. Nothing too surprising there. I'm not going to go over those, I don't think. But those are the stats for the BPL. I'm trying to think who else. Yes. Yeah, so Dada won the Golden Boot in the BPL.
Hmm.
Where do I want to go? Oh, we need to go through. I know where the tournaments. We need to go through those as well. And
Let's
so,
take a look.
yeah, we're gonna start with the FA Cup, and Chelsea probably feel gutted because they technically won the FA Cup and the Capital One Cup, and they missed the BPL by 1 point. I mean, they had an amazing year. Obviously, they played Palace in the final. We got knocked out quite early in the FA Cup. I think we made it the fourth round, and then we got knocked out by, I want to say, Swansea.
Yeah.
But
Look at Brighton going up pretty far.
yeah, Brighton made a nice little run there.
Yeah.
And then the Capital One Cup was, again, went to Chelsea.
Yeah.
They just seemed to be taking all the silverware. They actually beat Wolves 5-0 in the final.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and
But I guess
Wolves
it
and
makes
Middlesbrough, they had an epic semifinal, looks like, and Spurs almost got the Capital One Cup as well while they were in the Europa League. So, yeah.
Boro and Wolves 4-4. That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
From having nobody had more than 2 goals in the round of 16 and quarterfinals.
Yeah, quarterfinals were very tightly contested favorites, but man, how does Arsenal feel? Tottenham knocking them out of the Capital One Cup.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Oh, I'm not gonna complain. I like it. And
4, wow, incredible. 5-0 at the end.
yeah, Chelsea just manhandled Wolves there, and then we'll quickly jump over to the Champions League and see how that bracket went down. Your champions are Bayern Munich, beating Atletico in the final.
Yeah, that looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, look at Chelsea they got dropped 6-0 in their semifinal with Bayern. And
oh, that's crazy.
man, Chelsea could have stolen a lot of silverware this year. I mean, God, how good is that team? I know when I played them, they were just unbelievably good.
Yeah, yeah. There's really, I mean, they really don't need, to change too much personnel there.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to remember. I think our home fixture we played them. It was very early in the season. I think we only lost 1-0, but man, it was a tightly contested match, if I recall.
I remember that match. In real life, that's the one where it was a pretty good drubbing.
Yeah.
By Chelsea. And that first match that they visited Goodson Park for you. Yeah, you put up a really good fight. I remember that was a really fun match to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you lost 1-0, right?
Yeah, well, I believe we lost 1-0.
Yeah,
that was and then we went to Stanford, and I think we got handled pretty well there.
Yeah, you got worked a little bit.
Yeah, it was a little tough. Then we go to the Europa League. Obviously, you guys got to see the episode of that full match. I gotta say that was a very intense match. Although Tottenham definitely felt like the better side, but like when we got that goal, when Pienaar poached that one in, I was like, yes, here it comes. We've been on such a roll. Here we go. We're gonna get back in it, and then they just buried us.
Yeah.
That third goal just buried us. I'm like, oh, just gutted.
Tottenham just plays like Tottenham.
Yeah.
He's so really the ball movement and everything. Tottenham's just
And
that's just how
and why didn't I?
You'd be right now.
Yeah,
Against like Galatasaray and Olympiacos, man. I mean, those were some really good. Good matches.
Yeah.
And then you come in with playing against Tottenham, play a completely different type of football, than any other team. So,
Yeah.
It was a good run.
It just seemed like all the draws we got, and once we got into the round 16, we were playing just. I'm like, oh man, we're playing the best team. I mean, Galatasaray, Champions League reject, Olympiacos, another Champions League reject. Zenit was probably the class of the group stages, if I recall. I don't think they lost a match coming into the semifinals. They were on an incredible run, and then we get to play Tottenham, who were just on fire at the time. And Aaron Lennon, God, he tore me up. How ironic was that?
Yeah, exactly.
I should have signed him. No, I wanted to get Podolski.
There's nothing wrong with Podolski.
Nope, nothing wrong with him. Okay, so that's kind of the general overview. We'll go over the squad very quickly here while we start building up to my potential firing or staying on board. We'll take a look. We'll just go through the team sheet real quick and just kind of go over, see how many goals that Leighton Baines scored. Obviously, we'll start with the keepers. Obviously, the Nagard, most of his stats are with Man United, but he played pretty well. You know, he ended up being on great form as well, and he's happy now, so that's good. I was finding in this career I was struggling a lot with morale in the squad because we weren't doing so well in the Premier League. It just seemed like it was so up and down. Like every BPL match, we'd win like 2-0, and then they're like, oh, well, they're all mad. I'm like, why? We just won. We're on this amazing run. You guys are mad? I mean, come on. We were 17th, and now we're going to be mid-table, guaranteed, possibly maybe top 7. But then we played those Europa League matches, and we were just on fire. And then everybody's like, oh, yeah, we're doing awesome. And then BPL match, oh, we're in the dumps again.
Yeah, it reminds me of my beloved Fulham, you know, when they were on their incredible run in real life, you know, where they had so much chemistry, you know, when it came to the Europa matches. But then, you know, the minute they come back for, you know, for the real life, you know, Premier League matches, they were just kind of off, you know, and they didn't have that same kind of flair. That was when Dempsey was pretty much in his prime, though.
Oh, yeah.
You know, yeah, he was a standout player for them. But I remember that was that's kind of looks how it was here as well. I think the fact that you didn't sign too many players was actually, I think, was a really good thing, and I think that kept morale. But I think yeah, your players have high expectations, just like the board does.
And obviously, you know, it doesn't hurt when your goalkeepers are playing just out of their skin at match in, match out, saving your kind of shaky defense at times. You know, Tim grew 4, and he's 36 years old, which is incredible to me. I'm like, man, he should be dropping off, but he's getting better. I mean, he played 45 matches for me. He actually got an assist. I don't remember that.
How did that happen?
I'll have to look back at the video, but he overall had 13 clean sheets. You know, solid 7.8 average for the year. He's going to be one of my leaders. He's going to be number 1 for sure going into next season. But, you know, he's going to have to share some more give up a few more games to Lindegaard, I think, because I have a feeling he's going to fall off here next season. I'm just kind of waiting for him to fall off. I'm like, okay, when's it coming? But it just never dropped. His form never dropped. He was always on form. Like, I don't think he dropped form once all season.
I think FIFA has that built-in Tim Howard engine.
Yeah.
So he's got his own kind of separate engine altogether, you know. So I don't know if he's like the Terminator. I don't think he can kill him. So.
Right, and
You're right.
Gonna jump ship. I'm gonna skip the other goalkeepers because I didn't use them. I'm gonna highlight Seamus Coleman at right back. 47 games played. He had 5 assists. Average rating 6.5. Again, he was hurt. He did get hurt towards the middle of the season, and I had to play Hibbert, who's no Seamus Coleman. But, you know, Coleman, he was definitely the guy who could, him and Morales working that right wing, it was just great. Whenever I could get a goal, it was those two guys always setting it up down the baseline.
Yeah.
I mean, they worked so well together, and now he's worth $15 million. And now I'm gonna be curious to see who's gonna offer for him now. He didn't grow very much. He's still only 26, but he didn't grow very much. I thought he'd grow a little bit more, but you know, it is what it is.
I think he's a pretty fantastic player. No yellow cards or red cards either.
Yeah, he was pretty clean. But I really wasn't too aggressive with penalties. I didn't seem to get too many cards, but I think it's kind of my style.
Yeah.
I was kind of trying to find ways to defend and try not to get because I was fighting a lot of injuries through the year, especially with midfielders being hurt and such. John Stones, I talked about a little bit ago. He had 30 matches this season. He only grew by 1. He's still young, but he had 9 clean sheets. Only had 2 yellows and a red. But I think he also got hurt for a little bit during the season as well. I thought for a center back for the future, he's definitely one to look out for. The only knock I have on him is his work rate. He's got a very attacking work rate. I think his work rate's high, his attacking's high, and his defense is only medium. So, like when you go all out attack, he's always up there. The strikers, I'm like, oh, what are you doing, Stones?
Not quite the Sylvan Distan you want.
No, but he's got pace and he's young, and I really like him. I thought he was better than Distan this season, but Jagielka and Distan were obviously the 1 and 2 goalkeepers center backs for the season. Jagielka only dropped by 1, but he's still going to be my top center back for next season. Hopefully he doesn't really fall off the table, but he's my captain. Again, I think he also got hurt a little bit this season as well, missed a few matches, but he ended up with 46, had 1 assist, only 1 yellow card. Surprising again, but he was a very solid. He played a lot of games, and he was very solid for me in the back. Like, I could always depend on Jagielka to get that, that shot from outside the box, to get a foot in and knock it away. I thought he was very clutch in situations. He's definitely lost a step, but he could be a starter on any team.
Here's a question for you: if you get to stay on, are you planning on moving Jagielka to replace Distan's position, or are you gonna move Stones in there?
For the time being, it's going to be Jagielka and Stones. But this winter, I am going to look for another first-team center back. I feel like center back was definitely the middle of the pitch. Center back and the center midfield. I need another. Obviously, I need another starter to replace Distan because I'm losing a depth player there.
Right.
And I've only got 4 center backs on the squad, so.
Yeah.
I need, Alcaraz is coming back, but I re-sign him for a year just for depth because he's a decent depth player. He's a big guy. He can play the depth. Browning, the youngster, the games he only played 8 matches, but he played very well.
I thought he played well. Yeah.
Yeah, the games he came in, especially late in the year when I had to play him, he was doing his good work. I'm like, well, he's got to grow a little bit, but I definitely need more depth. That way I can send him out on Browning out on loan next season to help him grow even more. But yeah, Stones, he's ready, but he's not quite ready yet, I don't think. I think I need to bring in another center back to ensure that to team up with Jagielka because I can't afford for Jagielka to get hurt and be in kind of a situation where it's a patchwork center backs. All right, now we get to the good one, Leighton Baines. The 30-year-old penalty taker, corner taker, you name it, he does it. Free kick. I was disappointed. I don't think I got a free kick goal with him this year, and he had a couple that rattled off the bar.
Yeah, especially I remember one at the last minute as well. A couple of those, but yeah. No, fantastic player. Still 30 years old. He's definitely going to be your trade spotlight this year or this off season. I can definitely assume that.
Yeah, I plan on keeping him. It's hard to find a good quality guy like Leighton Baines who can play the corner, and he's like Coleman. He's good at pressing up the field and getting around the corner to deliver balls in. 14 goals, all penalties. I can confirm that. Only 2 assists, but very solid. He was also hurt for a good chunk of the season. You notice the theme here. I had a lot of defenders hurt this year at one point or another. Like I said, Coleman, Baines, Stones was hurt. Jagielka was hurt for a couple games. Distan, I think, got hurt. But, and then the depth players, Oviedo was obviously number 2 behind Baines. He didn't get a lot of playing time, but he did okay. But he's good for playing he can play on the left wing as well. So when we had our thin left mids at the time that were on poor form, he came in and played a couple. But the one guy I want to highlight as a future left back to replace Baines is Luke Garbett, the youngster. He only played 5 games when Baines got hurt, but those 5 games he impressed me a lot. He actually got a goal. He came in and snuck a goal in. I can't remember who it was against, but man, I was impressed with Luke Garbett. You know, he's very young. He's still got a ways to grow, but I think he's going to be very good for the squad in the future if indeed Baines gets tempted to go away.
Yeah, I agree. I think from what I saw, a very agile player, you know, and yeah, I think you used him pretty well. You know, didn't he fits that role of running up and down the flanks pretty nicely. So I don't know what his pace is or anything like that, but he seems like he moved pretty well.
Yeah.
Great value as well, 650K
Mm-hmm.
for you know a player who's going to be pretty high in potential there.
Going over to the center defensive position, this position gave me the biggest headache all season because at one point or another, McCarthy and Barry were both hurt. McCarthy, I think, was definitely the most got the most cards on the season because he had 5 yellows and 1 red. He just, coming back from injury, he just never he didn't seem to be playing well. And of course, I was playing more. I think he plays well with Barry when there's 2 of them in the defense, but in the end of the year, I was playing more of that 4-1-3-2 formation, and just didn't seem to suit him very well. But like I said, he was out almost 3 months, I think. And then I think he got hurt earlier in the year too, so he was out quite a bit. He only had 31 matches for me, but and then Barry, obviously, our Man City signing from the beginning of the year. Oh, he's dropping off quite well, and he actually broke his ankle late in the year, which I thought was a big blow. If he didn't break his ankle, I thought before the final, he could have definitely helped us, and it kind of put us in a pinch. But at the same time, I got Besic some game time because of it, and I thought Besic late in the year, I just couldn't find a spot to use him because McCarthy and Barry were doing all right, and I was still trying to figure out how to defend with this, find the right formation that'll work defensively for this squad.
Yeah.
And but Besic late in the year, he's kind of like, okay, he turned it on a little bit. You know, he only grew by 1, but he only had 12 matches, so.
I think that's a tough position, that CDM for you. I think that's something that I could see. You know, this is need somebody with just a little bit bigger presence. You know, somebody. I can't put my finger on somebody. You know, somebody just a little bit more. You know, I would even say Joey Barton-ish. You know, not Joey Barton, but you know, with the same kind of grit. Somebody like that. You know, Jermaine Jones. Not him, but a player like that. Somebody who's just gonna be your demolition guy, you know. And I think Jim McCarthy, Besic, and Barry, they're all kind of the same player. Barry maybe a little bit more because he's more seasoned, but I think your focus really will be your CDM if you get to stay on the force.
Yeah, and the thing with Barry is he's starting to drop off quite. I noticed that he's losing a step quite quickly, so I don't know how much longer. He's still got a couple years left on his deal, so I'm probably going to see him out before I get rid of him until the last year of his deal. That was my plan with him. But let's go to the right midfielder and talk about the guy that scored the most goals that weren't from penalties this season, Kevin Morales.
Yeah.
The Belgian wonder. The surprise Belgian wonder, I thought, but man, the goals he scored, cutting inside down the wing. Oh,
yeah.
I really like this player.
Yeah, really, you know, in his prime. You know, it didn't surprise to see no improvement, but you know, I guess that's expected. But he's just one of the intangibles. You know, you just kind of something's gonna happen when he has the ball. And he used him really well in cutting him inside, just like he does in real life, and shooting with his right or his left.
I'm trying to remember the team we played where he scored that goal off the center back's chest, and it went in the net. Like, it was just a vicious strike. I didn't finesse it or anything, just hit a straight shot. The defender got in the way. He was trying to back off, but his chest was out, and he bounced off his chest and went right in the net. I'm like, oh, my God. But he had a couple goals where he just near post, far post, he was just putting them in, and oh, yeah, such a great player. It is a damn shame he got hurt before the final.
Yeah.
He broke his ankle, and I couldn't believe no, I didn't get a penalty for that.
Yeah.
At the end of the year, I wasn't getting any penalties. I got so many coming into it, and then I'm like, all of a sudden, nope. Morales gets his ankle broken in the box, and I get nothing from it. Rest.
Yeah, they gave you enough penalties this year to make up for the ones, you know.
You can never have enough penalties. I was struggling enough scoring with the squad, and but also McGady's going to be interesting as a backup. He's kind of in that same boat. He's not as quite as polished as Morales, but he's a very good winger. He came off the bench quite a bit because Morales was doing so well, and it's going to be interesting to see on the right side because actually Morales' contract's coming up next season. He's only got a year left, and McGady's it's going to be hard to get playing time between the two, I think, because they're both important and crucial contracts respectively. And I'm surprised McGady didn't complain more not getting enough game time, but like I got off the bench quite a bit because I was using Morales quite a lot.
Right.
And he's a solid player, I think, just not quite I don't think he has the pace of Morales. Morales' pace is kind of deceptive, I think. He can definitely outrun on those flanks.
I think McGeady in any other team, or basically wherever, if McGeady would start somewhere, he'd be a decent goal scorer. 5 to 6 maybe in the year. And this time he didn't just get enough playing time.
Yeah.
And I think the more you use him, but I still think there's somebody out there.
Mm-hmm.
He could be trade bait.
Yeah, could be trade bait, but if I do decide to let Morales go, if I get a good enough offer, he can come in and step in and play well. There's a position I'm probably looking for a young depth player.
Right.
There's a few spots on the squad I'm definitely looking for depth, like right back. No offense to Hibbert, but he's slow and I hate using him. So I need more I definitely need more guys to play on the right more.
Tony Hibbert is a legend. You have to be careful what you say.
I know.
He's Everton legend.
And you know what? I gave him another year. I gave him an extension on his contract, so I didn't get rid of him. He's gonna stay on the squad. I'm not gonna drop him. I'm not gonna trade him. But I hate to be in a situation where I lose Coleman and I'm like, I gotta put in Hibbert. It kind of cripples my attack. And when I did use him, I couldn't get the same results out of Morales, I think. Jumping over to the CMs real quick, I've got a lot of young players in the system, like Ledson and Lundstrom that were on loan all year, or Ledson for part of the year. Lundstrom was on loan all season. Francisco Jr., that little guy can move. He's very agile. He scored a goal in the Europa League and got an assist, so good for him. I think he's going to have good future. Just he's a really short player. He does get muscle off the ball quite a bit. Leon Osman, another seasoned vet.
Another Everton legend. Be careful what you say. No,
but unlike Hibbert, I actually do like Osman. He's very solid. I think I didn't give a fair shake early in the year, and I didn't really use him. That was part of the reason because I had Gibson on the squad, and Gibson left. He actually went to Tottenham. That was another salt in the wound, kind of like, But Osman, I gave him more playing time because we had so many injuries in the midfield, and he actually did pretty well for me. I'm not going to complain with Leon Osman. He's definitely here to stay. And especially since we have so many young guys at the center mid position. But I would like to get a little bit more of a seasoned bench player to kind of replace Gibson because I haven't really got that yet.
Right.
That's where I'm looking, and I have to think about Ross Barkley, obviously. And we'll talk about Ross real quick here before we jump to the left side. We talked a little bit about it. Ross was bad. He was bad a lot of the times, but then he came clutch coming off the bench. He only had 5 goals this season, 3 assists. That's kind of one thing I was like, he's got a great long shot, but I didn't really get a good chance to use it.
Yeah.
Just because of the way of my play.
He attracts a lot of attention, to best parts when he shined was when he dribbled past players and
Hmm.
and then ran onto some crosses on occasion. But he's an outstanding player that probably just had high expectations for the season. Maybe he's the source of your bad morale.
Maybe.
Probably infectious throughout the team.
Maybe because he feels like he's worth more money, and I agree. He's a great player. Like he's a great cam. I don't know if he's meant to be a cam in on our team because I kind of need him to be more defensive minded because of how our midfield was kind of jumbled around all season, and that's why I kind of dropped him more back to CM. And when I did, I thought he played a lot better. He was more well-rounded. He's more suited because if he's just standing up top, he's good on the attack still, but you're kind of down a midfielder when he's up there up top by himself with the striker. So
Yeah. Right.
when I had early in the year running the 4-5-1, it wasn't clicking. Like I felt like he was just I needed him. He needed to be more engaged. But dropping the CM, he definitely shined a little bit. But then coming off the bench, I thought was his best usage. But he's definitely a starter, no question. It'll be interesting to see what's going to happen to him this summer transfer window. Whether we hold on to him, my gut tells me that I probably won't because I'll probably get an offer from one of the big clubs, and it's probably going to be too tempting for me to say no, and I'll have to find a replacement for him to bring in another. Because after that, my other top two midfielders are Barry and McCarthy. So,
Yeah, it's a tough spot to be in. That's not going to be easy.
but yeah, midfield's definitely another area. I feel like the center of the pitch is where we need to work, get some more transfers in. Jumping to the left side real quick, Steven Pienaar and Lucas Podolski. Obviously, Podolski I signed at the end of January for a cool $4 million from Arsenal. Since he was on, I believe he was on bad form, so I snatched him up, and he's very happy at the club. He got a lot of playing time because Steven Pienaar all season kind of was disappointing.
Yeah. Yeah, Pienaar had a off season, I would say. I
Yeah.
think Podolski coming in. Podolski, by his nature in general, is very hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Some of that German mentality. He's very, wants to impress, and I think that's a great signing for you. I think he's gonna, give you a couple good seasons.
Yeah, and I signed him on he's on a squad rotation basis, so that's going to be good when he does get playing time. He's not going to be too disappointed. Yeah, I was a little disappointed he's not growing. I'm a little worried he's probably going to drop off maybe since he's at that 30 mark now because Pienaar's already starting to drop.
Right.
Pienaar's definitely got more pace, and like I said, he only had one goal, but he had it in the final of the Europa League. And after that final, he definitely played. Towards the end of April, he was playing. I was playing him more, and he was actually doing a little bit better than Podolski. Because I know Podolski, as soon as I signed him, he was playing every match for me. He was solid, but yeah, I was kind of disappointed to me. I just couldn't seem to get him a goal because I could do it with Morales every time, but Podolski just doesn't quite have the pace. But he's very good at going after ball carriers, and he's a strong player, strong, hungry left winger, like you said. Also, the other left winger you see here, Danny Barnes, is actually the first player we've signed from the academy because he was complaining that he was going to leave, and I didn't want him to leave. But a 67 left mid at 17 is pretty damn good. And I've got high hopes for this kid. I think his potential is around the high 80s to low 90s. So he is going to be quite the prospect. I'm kind of curious to see how he's going to play. I'm probably going to put him on loan this season, but
I like him. He looks good, and that's a good rating to have already. 17. That's good sign or good stuff.
Now let's talk about the strikers. Oh man, could we? Obviously, my best striker all year is probably Lukaku with 10 goals. Yeah,
Yeah.
it took a while to figure out how to use these strikers, in my opinion, because the wing play is so crucial with Everton, but moving the ball forward. But the strikers like Lukaku just seem like in real life he just does. He seems to not be that wonder Belgian. He seems to
Yeah.
kind of down a couple peg, and it sure felt like it when I was playing
He's
with him.
Yeah, he's just not very sharp. I
He's
think he's still raw, but he's just not sharp. He
mm-hmm.
doesn't have that kind of golden touch. He'll have like little spurts of it. Kind of how Ross Barkley's been a little bit.
Yeah.
He's been isolated. He's ready to show you something, but then that final touch or something is just missing.
But the goals he did score,
Yeah.
great goals. I mean,
He's,
when he got the ball serviced to him, he was great, and I could get around that defense. Very good left foot. Ugh. I think he even scored a couple on his bad right foot too. But man, Lukaku definitely the striker for the future, for the long term. Hopefully he's happy here and willing to stay now. Switching gears to the other 80 plus rated striker, Samuel Eto'o.
old man, old man.
An old man who's given me a selection headache all season.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, he grew to like an 84 this season, even though he only had 5 goals. I played him a lot, just because he's a crucial player. He had a crucial contract, so I had to play him. And he's a recent signing, so I had to get him in the squad. Yeah, but the first half of the season, he was nowhere to be found. He didn't score a goal, I think, until our last match in the FA Cup, when he finally got a goal, and he snapped him out of his insecure streak. But then towards the end of the year, it went away again. He was starting to drop off overall, and
I think the goals he scored in the Europa League were, the 3 goals he scored, they were all very calm, collected finishes,
mm-hmm.
And it was kind of strange to me to see, and I think your commentary on when he scores, like, and it's Eto'o finishes it, it's like so simple, and
yeah,
and it's so weird because he did struggle this year, from what I've seen. And it's so funny that he kind of just shows up and all of a sudden starts playing. So
mm-hmm.
I don't know what to really think of him. I can understand how you'd have a headache from him.
And to be honest, he's on the last year of his deal going into next season, and he's definitely going to be transferred this winter or this summer.
Yeah.
He's still got some value left, but I can't have 2 crucially first team strikers over Lukaku. It just I can't really I have to give up one or the other, and obviously I'm not going to give up Lukaku because he could still grow, but Eto'o is just going to keep getting worse, I feel.
Yeah, he's got a hefty price tag too.
Yeah,
got to use him for some trade
and
bait.
so
go down in the lower levels and find a solid depth position somewhere.
But I felt like FIFA did a good job. He definitely felt like the real life Eto'o, like at Everton. Obviously, he's off to he's in Italy now. So, but then the other 2 strikers behind him, Naismith and Kone. What are your thoughts on those 2 guys?
Naismith is one of my favorite players in the Premier League in real life. And I love he's just how I used to be when I was a player, and he's just all over the place. Small guy, small framed. You don't expect him to all of a sudden get a good header on or something like that, and then all of a sudden he scores goals.
Yeah.
But for you, he really I don't think
featured.
He represented.
Yeah.
I don't think he represented the way he really has the capability to. I think he's getting up there in age, but he's very seasoned. But I think he gets more opportunities. I think he can be a difference maker.
And that's where my thinking's coming for Eto'o, is to give him more opportunities to play, because he isn't. And I can understand that him and Kone were complaining about game time later in the year because they're supposed to be be playing more. Yeah. Obviously, I agree with you. Like, Naismith, yeah, was like I just couldn't seem to get him the goals he deserved because
Yeah,
I know he's got the great work rate. He can run up and down the pitch all day.
yeah,
He's great at that. I really thought what Kone did this year, Naismith would do for me, and it was kind of weird to see the older Kone get those goals because he had 6 compared to Naismith's 2, I believe.
hmm
Uh, but Kone just seemed to be he was on better form pretty much all. He had more consistent form through the years, so that's why he got more playing time.
yeah. I
But
think Kone early in the year, is really that standout player. He's got the crazy hair to begin with, and then he just really started off really great. When you first started this series, I thought he started off, on the right track, and then I think he kind of, dimmed away when everybody else was being pretty successful.
yeah,
But then he started to come out. So I think you've got, overall decent striker set up there. Those, top 3 guys after Eto leaves, of course.
yeah, and that's just I think the problem with the squad is I have way too many strikers.
Yeah, yeah,
I think I have 8, if I recall. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I have 8 strikers on the books right now.
that's crazy. Yeah,
And really, we're set up to be a 1-striker team, but I utilized 2 because we had such a surplus and get those guys playtime. So, but the core of Lukaku, Eto, Kone, and Naismith, when they got their chances, they did well. Obviously, I thought Eto was kind of let me down. Naismith and Kone are on the last year of their deals coming up next season, and it's kind of the same boat. Kone, I'm still kind of on the fence about whether he's going to remain at the club. He's got $6 million tag on him right now, so he may be primed to go. But he seems to be pretty happy, so he might stick around unless he has a bad year like Eto had. I could see him going. Naismith, he didn't have good form all year, but I was using him pretty much everywhere at cam and on the right side. I was trying to use him as much, but hopefully I'll get to use him a little bit more. But like I said, I really like him as a player. I think he plays well on here. I just didn't get enough opportunities. And I think with that, we'll wrap up going over the squad. And I think, oh wow, this took longer than I thought. It's an hour in.
it's all right.
Yeah,
This is long overdue. This is exciting to see your team. It's been as somebody who's watched all the matches, and you're somebody who uploads full matches, so is got to see the ins and outs of the team, and on the pitch. It wasn't just highlight packages of just seeing the results of what they're doing, but you can see the progression on the pitch. So that's what separates your channel from your approach than most. And so it's good to see break down the squad report and know your team. So
yeah, well, I appreciate it. So we'll get ready to go here for the board's review of my performance. It probably would help to go over the objectives, probably. Just to see what they expected of me.
Drill it into your head a little bit more.
Yeah.
You didn't know already.
I'm building the tension up. Just waiting for the catch up with the stream. Okay. So obviously my primary objective was to make a Champions League. We all knew that wasn't going to happen, but to finish 11th at the end of the year with the amount of games we had, I thought that was a great achievement for the squad. We definitely were clicking on all cylinders through March and up until the final. I thought we were firing on all cylinders, just playing well, solid in the back.
Yeah.
And
if you were to ask anybody in the start of the season if you were going to get into the Europa final, I would have laughed, and sacked you on the spot. It's incredible. I think that alone would tell, the supporters would be like, it's his first year, and he's got us into the final,
and
Come on.
and credit to the board when at mid-season when we were bottom of the table and we got through the group stage. We finished second behind Florentina on goal difference, and we didn't really have a good show. We played well in the group stage of the Europa League, but we weren't dominant.
Yeah.
We felt we were still kind of off, but and I said this all the time in the commentary is the Europa League. It was something about it. It was just a great tonic for the squad. It just seemed to lift the spirits of the squad every time we played a Europa match, and especially when we got into the knockout stages. Every game was just great, and then we managed to crawl our way all the way to the final, and
I think there's a lot to be said of, that's why the Europa League and the Champions League are so important. But I think the Europa League as well, because you've got those teams that didn't qualify for the Champions League, so they've got a chip on their shoulder already. And then you've got the hostile environment, going in. You've got a stadium of 60K, versus the nice little town park of the Premier League. So it's exciting to see that, and to bring in a Premier League and bring them into like Fiorentina or Galatasaray or Olympiacos, and the fact that you can play well and win from those areas. I think that alone builds a lot of merit, and obviously improved the morale of the team when you did have those matches.
Absolutely. And obviously domestic cup was definitely kind of a disappointment.
Yeah, you sucked there.
To be fair, I was playing a lot of the second teamers, reserve players.
Yeah.
And that was kind of to my detriment, but I was like, well, I don't want to be burning out my starters for a cup. I was more like, I didn't think I'd be doing well. Like, I kind of figured the Champions League, I thought at the start of the year we got off to a decent start. And I'm like, okay, we got a possibility, but towards the middle of the year, we're like, okay, that's gone. The cups were kind of, we stunk those out, and I'm like, okay, we need to focus on the Europa League and make that our priority, and we did, and we ended up going to the final in my first season. It would have been great to win it, but, final run's quite nice as well.
Absolutely.
Anyway, I'll take a quick look at my overall, just quick manager notes. My record for the first season had 56 matches, won 21, drew 18, and lost only 17. Actually ended up with an even goal differential, 58 for and 58 against. Our biggest win was Olympiacos in the Europa League second leg, I believe that was, on the road. And yeah, the biggest defeat was when we went to the Etihad to play Man City and just got drubbed.
Yep.
I think that was one of the Jovetic game where he scored like 3 or 4 goals on me. But yeah, it was very and there he was. Give a quick overview of the cups. 4th round for the FA Cup. Yeah, I forgot we went to. No, we lost, and then the Capital One Cup we lost in 3rd, and then yeah. All in all, didn't win any awards. Didn't surprise me. But obviously, record-wise, I'm quite impressed that we turned it around so late in the season. In some weird way, it was kind of reminiscent to your Fleetwood Town career from FIFA 14.
Oh boy.
Except I didn't get sacked right towards the end. I kept on winning.
Sack. That's why I'm gonna feel bad for you if you get sacked here.
No, you're not. You're gonna laugh.
I will. See, no, that's funny.
Anyways, quickly with transfer fees, our biggest was Podolski at $4 million, and then Gibson we sold for $6 million to Tottenham. Like I said, we didn't make a lot of deals in the winter. I didn't feel like we needed to. I felt like our core was good. We probably could have spent a little bit more money. I was a little strapped for cash there towards the middle of the season. Although getting the Europa League finals got us a lot of money back. I think we bumped our budget back up to $10 million thanks to getting to the Europa League final. Couldn't imagine how much it'd be if we actually won the dang thing. All right, moment of truth. Let's go ahead, Sim, and See what happens here. Will it be hashtag ISU31 out? Or will I get to keep my job? Or will Roberto Martinez say, screw you?
Let's look it over. Let's see it.
Not yet.
Reviews,
It's not
schedule.
yet.
Oh, they're gonna make you wait it out. Get that box ready.
And here it is.
Oh no!
I have been sacked as Everton manager. Regret to inform you, remove your position in the club, and there it is. Hashtag ISU31 out.
You had it ready. Oh no! This is terrible. I really don't agree with this. Oh man!
It's the Premier League. That's how the goals are set. If the primary goal was to get to the final, but to be fair, they wanted me to win the final.
Yeah.
If I would have won the final, I might have been able to keep the job. But I think because of the poor finish in the Premier League, but you know, it's a bit harsh.
That is really harsh, honestly.
But
If I was a real Toffee fan and I saw this, I would be like, "Are you kidding me? This is Roberto Di Matteo again." Not as prestigious, but still, the same setup. I mean, yeah, that's
yeah, yeah. Well, I guess my words to it are, it's a shame I have to go, but I felt like we turned the corner here in 2015, and I was really excited looking towards the next season and making a big run and seeing what the squad could do, because I felt like I finally figured out how to get this team to gel, and
yeah.
I found a formation that worked great. And to be honest, the one thing that really helped me, especially defensively there towards the end of the year, if you noticed in my gameplays, I was always picking the strikers when the opponents are pressing the ball into my half. I would always be pulling my strikers back to defend.
Yeah.
And it wore the hell out of my strikers because I was running them up and down the pitch. But I was trying to be solid in the back because I felt like just protecting with the midfielders just wasn't cutting it for me. I was getting beat every time, and especially with the injuries, I had to use those strikers well, and it seemed to work out well because then once I got the ball, we were making great counterattacks as well. But yeah, I'm sad and disappointed to go. I had so many good young players in the academy ready to come up this season. I think I had like maybe 4 that were 85 potential and up that I hadn't signed yet, that I was probably going to sign at the start of next season and get them out on loan. Like I had a midfielder that looked he's a defensive-minded center mid, but oh man, I had a feeling he'd be right around 70 potential at 18. I was like, he's gonna be good. I just wanted to keep him in the academy, help him grow. But
feels like a bad breakup, man.
Yeah, but you know what?
You gotta get over it.
The show must go on. It's not going to be the end of my career mode. We're obviously still manager of Sweden until I get fired from that for not making the Euro. We're kind of on the bubble there in the Euro qualifier, but
This
that's.
does not bode well.
But now we get to see where I'm going to manage next season.
Yes.
Yes.
Always exciting.
Yes. There is the terminated contract here as we wait for the stream to catch up. Put a little hashtag all over that. Oh yeah, I was prepared. I had a feeling I'd get sacked just because of the Premier League. And there you go. ISU 31 is out of Everton. And there I go. I'll get ready to sign it on the dotted line. Disappointed as always.
You made $46,000 a week.
Yeah.
Well, there are worse things out there.
All right, let's take a look at the job offers here that we will get. I'm very curious to see what I got offered.
I'm too. That's always exciting. Somebody who's been sacked before.
And the first one is QPR.
Ah, okay.
Very interesting. Avoid relegation, so their objective is not bad. I definitely can do that. Very interesting.
Where is my boy? What's his
Barton.
No, Charlie.
Oh,
What's his name?
I think he might have
Can't
got.
think of his name
I
right now.
think they might have
Did he
sold
get
him.
transferred?
He might have. I don't recall. Obviously,
He was like,
yeah, they played that five in the back, which I don't particularly care for. I think it's a pain in the ass. But
first thing you're gonna change. Charlie Austin.
Charlie Austin, yeah. I no, I think he was still there because I think we played him. He was still there, but we'll see.
Okay.
But Zamora would be probably a good player to play with, and not bad. So the
seventh. Wow.
yeah, like I said, they were the surprise team
Right.
for me of the season because they were up there in the top five for a long time, and then they started dropping off when the big teams turned it around. But the next offer is in the championship with Nottingham Forest. They want me to gain promotion back to the Premier League.
From 13th place, they want you to gain promotion. Okay.
Well, they offered me 23,000,
Yeah.
46 for QPR. I'm just keeping that track.
Yeah, that's a significant pay cut.
And with a high objective, but that could be interesting. All right, go to the next offer here, and it is Ipswich Town, another team that they wanted to get promoted to the Premier League. Oh, waiting for the stream there. There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
From seventh, possibly. I don't know much about Ipswich Town, but it could be an interesting project.
They were in the Premier League a couple times, weren't they? At some point? I don't. Yeah,
Maybe back in the day. I don't recall.
I think they had Muzzy Izzet, I think, played for them. That's the name I can remember. Maybe. I could be completely mistaken. Google.
Yeah, oh well. As we keep going through the offers here, a lot to think about. For sure. And the next one is Wolves. The losers of the Capital One Cup. Again, they want to get promotion. They finished 8th.
That's interesting.
So I'm getting a lot of championship offers, which I kind of figured.
You know me, I love the championship. And by the way, Muzzy Izzet played for Leicester City, not Ipswich.
Well, Leicester did get relegated, so they're back in the championship, along with Burnley and Hull City.
I'm a big fan of Wolves. I've always liked that team. So, you know, but the championship is the championship. You know,
Yeah.
that's another level of stress that you could bring in.
Absolutely. Well, we'll get ready to move on to the next offer, and it's a big one. It's Lazio.
Wow, they're gonna match it. 46.
Qualify for the
46th place.
qualify for the Champions League in Serie A. Now, being sacked from the Premier League, this would be appeal to me to go to a different league and try my hand at that. $20,000 transfer budget. Obviously, I don't know if they still have Hamsik. All right, no, Hamsik's Napoli. Never mind. I'm trying to think who I know on Lazio.
Lazio, was it Klose playing for Lazio?
I think so.
Looks like he's gone now.
He might be. But a big club offer me some fair amount of money to come to Italy.
Yeah.
That might be a very tempting offer for this American manager.
6th place. They want to qualify for the Champions Cup. Yeah, you'd be kind of right on track. How you know.
It'd be a tough draw because you have to deal with Juventus and obviously like teams like Roma, the rival. And next one, another Serie A team, Fiorentina, my group stage rival in the Europa League, and they actually went pretty far in the Europa League, if I recall.
Yeah.
Very good side, if I remember playing those 2 legs. Like
Yeah.
they still have Gomez, who can play Rossi. Rossi, well, he was tearing me up those 2 matches. I remember now. He was very good. Tempting offer as well.
That's a player I'd like to see in the Prem before his career is over. He's just an exciting player, Mr. Rossi. Yeah, that's I would pick Fiorentina over Lazio. Just I don't know. I like Fiorentina.
Yeah, I kind of do too. Lazio, yeah, it's like I'd kind of Yeah, the Rome derby would be nice, but that'd be interesting, obviously.
Yeah, I used to watch Fiorentina quite a bit when I think what's his name Hernan Crespo
Oh,
played for them.
yeah, showing your age a little bit there, Matt, but that's okay.
That's all right. That's all right.
All right.
Yeah.
Next offer is from Ligue 1 in France, and it is for I can't even say it. Stade Renias. I'm sure I'm butchering that name, as I do butcher all kinds of names, being an American. Champions Cup again, 8th place. Ugh, that'd be a tough one, I think.
Oh, Crespo did not play for Fiorentina. See, my age is faulting me. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I haven't. I get the Premier League on, or the Italian League on beIN because I have that channel, but I haven't watched a lot of it this season.
Yeah, I used to watch Italian league, man, when I grew up overseas. You know, it'd come on at like 2 a.m. You know, I used to watch all the, but I've been so engrossed in the Premier League, so it's kind of
League.
But yeah, I don't know. League, it's never exciting. It's kind of, you know, I don't know. Just me though.
Yeah.
But that's all you, man. Looks like a decent side. I don't recognize too many players though.
Yeah. And just waiting for the next offer, and that's it. That's all the offers we have.
Wow, some good teams.
Now the question is, do I stay in the Premier League with QPR and probably have a pretty safe job? Probably not going to be as competitive as I was. Obviously, QPR aren't going to be as good the next season because I don't see them being as, like, it seemed to be like a freak season. You know, they get promoted and they finish 7th, but that would be a safe bet.
You know, and they've got some things to build up on. You've got a great fan support at QPR. It's well documented of how intense the fans are there. Like, you know, just like any Premier League team. But you know, the stadium there, you know, pretty significant, pretty closed in. You know, so they've got a great tradition. You know, it just depends if you would see yourself there. I mean, I'm still trying to get over not seeing you play at Goodson Park.
I know, man, I know. It's going to be heartbreaking, but, you know, like I said, the show has to go on. You know, it's you can't always win in the manager mode series. It's
gonna be a tough one. I think I like QPR myself.
QPR would be a good one. The thing about the championship is I'd be very tempted to go down, but not to mention I'd be taking a pay cut. I put little quotation marks. I know you can't see my face on a webcam, but that's what I'm doing. But all these teams want promotion, and with limited budgets, I mean, your best bet's probably going to be Nottingham. You probably get the best financial support, yeah, but that's not enough, and you know the quality, and you never know. It'd be a tough one to think. You know, I think it'd be a fun series, but I don't think it'd be for me. Obviously, Ligue 1, it's not a side I'm too familiar with. And they want to qualify for the Champions League. I just don't see it happening for that Rennes club. So I'm really kind of. I think I'm gonna have to narrow my 3 down to QPR, Lazio, or Fiorentina.
Yeah, I would agree. What's Fiorentina's budget?
They have 21 million.
Yeah. So they're your highest, right?
Yeah, because Lazio's at 20 and QPR is at 13. And Fiorentina do have a bigger budget, wage-wise.
It's a tough call, man, because no matter what, you're changing your scenery completely, you know, and getting out of the Premier League flow, or you're going to go into the play style is completely different too in Italy. So
Mm-hmm.
and it's a different level. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe you could get sacked quicker. You don't know.
You're right. You might be, or I could play a lot better. You know, you never know.
Yeah, yeah, some big decisions.
Hmm. I'm just trying to think off my top of my head. Does Florentina have a stadium in the game?
You know what? Let's look real quick. FIFA 15.
Because I know Lazio is obviously Roma. They share a stadium with Rome.
Right, they share it with Roma.
And I know that's in the game. I'm pretty sure.
I don't believe Fiorentina do. Maybe actually. Oh, no, I pulled up FIFA 14, so I'm not really helpful right now.
Mm-hmm.
FIFA 15 stadiums, that'd probably be better.
I was trying to pull it up here. Okay.
Where's Italy? Italy.
Nope, they do not.
No, because there's only.
They just
three
have
teams.
Juventus,
Yeah.
San Siro, and the Olympiaco.
So that's always. I mean, that sounds like you're similar to me. I need that aesthetic of a stadium.
So as much I think fun Florentina would be.
I will say, just in case.
Okay.
I know you're a PC player.
Mm-hmm.
We have Stadium Server.
That's true. I forgot about
Stadium
that.
Server's fantastic. I just installed Fir Park and Sanderson Park.
Okay.
And yeah, but of course there's limited stadium creations right now. There's surprisingly, but Stadium Server has been pretty nice, and it works pretty flawlessly too.
Okay.
I don't know if you can assign other stadiums with Stadium Server though. I think
No, I don't think you can in career mode unless you do it fresh start. But we're not doing a fresh start.
No, don't do that.
No, this series is going to continue until till the next game.
Fresh starts on my side, but you've put in 50 or 60 episodes now,
Yeah.
including the ones you had to scrap. So
you know what? I would love to take QPR. Like, that would be a safe bet. I could stay in the Premier League and be, like I said earlier, I could stay and be avoid relegation. Should be easy enough. I'm more than capable of keeping the team up instead of qualifying for the Champions, Cup. But then again, I do like the challenge. So I'm going to go on a limb. I think I'm going to pick Lazio.
wow.
Because I think playing a Roma team and being the underdog would be a great story. I know it'd be the history between Roma and Lazio. I know a little bit about it. It's very heated, a very politically fueled rivalry, obviously, over there in Roma. Obviously, Lazio are kind of considered the outsiders, the radicals, I guess.
Yeah.
But,
if you don't get
what
stuck,
if,
you get clubbed to death.
yeah, I could go over there and beat, take out, if Totti's still around, deny him one last win against the Lazio.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to go with Lazio on this one. I think Florentina would be great too, but, Lazio, I think playing in the Roma Stadium would be awesome.
That would be nice to see. It'll be nice to see.
All right, so we'll pull up the contract here, qualify for Champions Cup, and if it doesn't work out, hey, I'll get sacked early. But I think the challenge would make it, bringing the team up like that. I think in Italy, I forget how many spots are for the Champions League.
I don't remember.
I know it's not as many as like England. Maybe like 2 or 3, maybe. But we could do it. And 20 million, you got something to work with there.
Yes, yeah, there's a lot of room there.
But you know what? They're gonna offer me the money. I might as well take it. So let's sign on the dotted line, and ISU Reaper 31 is in at Lazio.
Huge.
Yep. Because I don't think I get another. I'll wait for the news thing to come up here once I sign. But yeah, definitely a sign my name on the dotted line there. Boom, and another chance for Ice Uber 31. Great storyline. Surprise turn events indeed.
I agree. I think it's you know, like he says, I'm going to throw my toys out of the pram as things don't always work out.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
All right. It looks like, yeah, well, I got 5, so maybe 3 and 2 for the Europa League, or maybe it's the same 4 and 1. Not sure. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I will now do Lazio next season. I don't think I've seen very many Lazio career modes. You know, most people do if they do Italian. I know John Joe, our buddy, did the AC Milan one.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe we'll give Lazio some love.
I like it. I like it.
All right. Well, we'll wrap this up. Like I said, I'm disappointed, but I'm excited for this new chapter in my career, and I can't wait to get started. I may not be cranking out the episodes every day like I did with the Everton one, but you know, I'll still get the nice full matches for you. And also this season, I'm going to do what you've done, is do the away legendary and home.
Oh,
World class, because last year I just did world class, and I felt towards the end I was kind of like, you know.
yeah.
But I'm gonna do it for this this season. Make it that much harder for me.
It's gonna be fun, man. And I don't know if you're gonna use the new sliders or not, but you know.
Oh, you know I will.
Yeah, they've been pretty well, playing well for me as well. So I look forward to getting my stuff back together and getting going. But this is exciting. I like Lazio. Like it.
Well, I hope everyone else enjoys it as well, and hopefully we can get qualified for the Champions League next season for them. I'm kind of curious to see if they're in the Europa League or anything like that. I didn't bother to see how they finished last season. So, but with that being said, let's wrap up the episode. It's been a long episode. It's about an hour off of what I predicted. I thought we'd whiz right through it. I'd like to thank Matt for coming on and joining me. It was a real treat to have you, man. And like I said, can't wait to try this new career mode out and you to watch it and critique and laugh at my every misfortune.
Definitely. Hashtag Lazio bound. I like it. No, thank you for having me. I appreciate this, and you know, I like that you very far in depth with your players and the, you know, and the fact that you upload full matches. Not saying you have to, but they're really insightful, because somebody who appreciates the game appreciates not just the game of soccer, but also the game of FIFA. And then in the fact that you're using sliders, there's so much to be shown there. You know, and that's something I'll reference a lot on my channel as I promote sliders, etc. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to Lazio. It's going to be a different level playing field completely. You're going to have to get so much depth, because you're going to get so many injuries. It's going to be fantastic.
No, I'm really looking forward to it. And like I said, you know, like, I don't have to do these full matches, but I do it for the benefit of everybody, basically, because it's just more of a sample size that we can go back and look to make the sliders even better, you know, if we need to, or, you know, give you more insight, because you guys, I give you and Orion a lot of credit for getting the community together behind the sliders, and like I said, I'm just trying to do my part to help you guys out, and, you know, give my feedback as well. So
yeah, it's invaluable. Appreciate it.
Yep, no problem. Like I said, thanks for coming. I appreciate you getting away from the kid and the missus for an hour and a half to come chat up with me, and hopefully everyone enjoyed the episode. From myself, Ice Trooper 31, and Matt 10. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.